So I want to carefully cordon off my zone of expertise.
Yep.
Which is nothing to do with having kids, nothing to do with having a wife. Go to someone else for those sorts of particulars, because I could only lead you down the wrong path. So it's only the last part that I want to address, which is I feel despicable for even feeling this. And that is where I do feel that I can give advice, which is you are in honesty over integrity. You're in such a better place being honest about these things because, as you know from Emotional Mastery, and I would encourage you to check out the new course, which went up within the last 7 or 8 days. So I'm sure you haven't gone all the way through it. Is one, go back to that. But the general idea is that emotions arise and you cannot pick them, fight them, or resist them. And part of what causes this I feel despicable is the sense that I should have known better than to have these feelings. And I think what releases that is when you start recognizing that this has just happened. I did get angry. I did get frustrated. And what you could feel proud of is that you have the conscious recognition of it, which is so far beyond most people. Most people, when they feel despicable about something, can't let themselves recognize it. And then they just are short with their kids. And they say that they love them. And they say that there's, family matters the most. And they spend 80 hours in the office, right? Like,
nothing's wrong. I'm fine.
Yes. And so the despicable piece is the only one that I feel comfortable giving any advice on, which is continue to go through Emotional Mastery, re-go through the new course, do a trigger meditation, which is day 6. And I think that one can start to unwrap some of these feelings so that you can cope with them. But just from person to person, you have nothing to feel despicable about. Even though you may, that's okay. You can still be with that despicable feeling, but it is not the end of the story. You're not a bad person for being fed up with your family or your wife or your kids, particularly during a quarantine when nobody's listening. Like, those are all valid emotions to experience. The only thing would be if you acted off them in the sense of you were abusive or anything like that. And at that point, we can talk. But I don't have anything to say about the wife and kids, because other than you might want to ask someone who has a wife and kids who has done a good job with it.
Yeah, I agree. I don't have the pleasure of having a wife and children.
Yeah.
So.
Yes, it is. And the reason that I want to be careful and not treat it like a girlfriend and kids like little people is because a wife is not a girlfriend. Like, you are committed to that relationship. You are staying in it. And kids are not little adults.
That's the one thing I was going to say. Yeah, I've heard sometimes it's good to treat them like little adults instead of like children. But yeah, a kid's brain just doesn't. It's not fully functional.
Yeah.
So for me to come in from here's what I would do if it were an employee that I was. It's like, when I have a 22-year-old employee, here's what I do. So you do that on your 5-year-old. Like, it's not actually gonna work. They don't have the same brains.
Yeah.
So yeah, you would need advice that was specifically for wherever a 5-year-old's brain is at.
I haven't gone through it. So I just know that this is a potential resource for you to look at. I think Mind Valley released a course, but she also, I think, does YouTube channels. I believe her name is Dr. Shefali, Shefali. I believe she's an Indian woman who talks about conscious parenting. And I bookmarked that in my head. I was like, okay, like if I'm ever interested in kids, conscious parenting.
I'm skeptical about a lot of the stuff Mind Valley puts out. So
okay,
I just want to.
So I'm not.
I would just be remiss if I sat here silently. So just because Mind Valley endorses it does not mean that I would think it was legit.
Sure. I just like the words conscious parenting.
Sure. I just know they have some stuff that I would disagree with.
Okay, cool. Hope that you guys enjoyed that clip. If you want to see more like this and have us do more podcasts, we are 100% funded by our generous patrons. And if you'd like to contribute, there's a link in the description, and we'll have one pop up on the screen right here so that we can do more podcasts where we have fun conversations and hopefully some deep ones like this. Either way, hope that you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.